Hello, hello, and welcome
to the Lumeplotters.
The Lumeplotters are back.
Yes.
And we are
I
here
got your
with an absolutely stinker
ridiculously
of an episode.
You'll be on the edge of your seat the entire time.
Yes. What are we talking about today?
We will be talking about how much writing is it okay to have on a dial?
Yeah. How many words is the maximum acceptable
Yeah.
limit?
How much is too much? Yeah. How many lines? How many words? Whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And
so, which watch are you wearing? Just so we can.
I'm wearing
count.
again the JLC Reverso because I'm at work and I think it's a very work appropriate watch.
Yeah.
So I don't get to wear it much. For some reason I feel the Reverso doesn't go with shorts. You have to be wearing like long proper pants and not even jeans, like
feel
pants.
Like these tailored proper shorts could work with a nice shirt, long sleeve shirt, and then you can.
I've tried. I guess you could.
Yeah,
maybe, but
that's very preppy. You know, you need something preppy for the watch.
Yeah. So that's there you go. And you?
I'm wearing the Daytona again because I still love it.
This time you switched to the Pagani, right?
No. It is still the Daytona. But
yes, you're very happy with your investment there.
I need to wear it because the update to the app that we both use, the wrist. It's now not called wrist check anymore. It's now called wrist
track.
Yeah. So it now tells you the price per wear if you put in the price that you paid for the watch in your statistics. And that, of course, freaked me out so much because I thought like, I only wore the watch 3 times or 4 times. And then, of course, the price per wear is like completely ridiculous. And I thought like, now I have to really wear the watch a bit more. So it's evening out, right?
Well, let's see how that goes.
Because
it's dollars.
Yeah.
Well, right now, so far, since I've been using the app, I just put in right now 1. I guess I will stick to, even though it's dollars, I'll put it in 465 dirhams a wear for my Explorer.
Yes.
I mean,
this is when you have the price in, right? Because for my overseas, when I look at the price per wear, it's like, oh my God, I have to wear it more often.
I love it. This is so cool. I'm very much okay with this. So I will play with that later.
Anyhow, so that's why I'm wearing my Daytona a bit more now. So
yes.
I don't get
so if you wear it 93,000 times, that's 1 dirham per wear.
Yeah, exactly. So easy, right? And it only takes me, 93,000 days? That is about...
Hold on. I will do the math 1 second here. 93,000 days. That will take you only 254 years.
See? Easy. Wow. Yeah.
There you go.
My goodness. I mean, so realistically, how much longer do I have on this earth? Probably just not assuming that I'm getting run over by a car or so.
40 years?
30 years? Well, 40 years is very optimistic.
Yeah.
Wow. So, yeah.
Okay, I'll do some math for you right now. Here you go. 40 years. If you were to wear this watch every single day for the next 40 years,
okay,
that would mean your maximum potential cost per wear is 6 dirhams and 36 fils per wear.
Okay, I can live with that.
Get started.
I think I should sell every other watch and just wear the shit out of this watch for 40 years. Just to
that's what people used to do. That's what's cool, right? Is they used to do this. Yeah, it was cool.
But you know what? Actually, the Daytona is a watch that you actually can wear. It's not perfect for everything because it's a bit too busy for like a dressy event or a black tie event. But it is actually pretty versatile because it's also steel, not gold. So yeah, it's I could.
It's close. It's like the sub. It's in there. You can kind of. Would you swim in it?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah,
it's 100 meters, right? So yeah, I would.
Yeah, it is. That's what I'm saying. But would you is a different question than should you?
I would. I think. Yeah.
Because then I think you can really get everything. But then again, would you wear it to Africa?
Actually, no, not a problem. Technically, yeah.
Yeah. Then you got everything. All your bases are covered. There you go. It's your travel watch. It's your swimming watch. It's your leisure. It's your dress up watch. Everything all in one.
Yeah. So what is keeping our listeners on the edge of our seat? The text. So you're wearing your...
No. We're going to go into another topic before the text.
Okay,
the text will come later. So one thing that we've seen,
yes,
and you have the numbers for this, and we talked about this briefly already, is that Tag Heuer has now announced, or LVMH has announced, that they will now sponsor Formula One for a grand total of $150 million
That's
a
rumored.
year.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, what's rumored? The price is rumored, right?
Yes,
but it's confirmed that they will be the next sponsor. Now, what's strange to me is LVMH has a bunch of brands, but it seems to me they don't have a single brand that is kind of the Omega or the Rolex or the, insert your everyday watch wearing thing here. The closest they have to this is Tag Heuer. But Tag Heuer is turning around, what is it? I think $450 million a year in revenue. So for them to invest $150 million per year for Formula One advertising for Tag Heuer, they must be trying really, really hard to get Tag to be the Omega, the Rolex, the everyday watch company.
Yes. Because if you see how much revenue Tag Heuer makes, if you are taking this Morgan Stanley watch report as a base, right? So I don't know what it was. What was the revenue which we think? Let me just quickly pull this up. In 2023,
it was 450, I think.
Let me see. I have to just. Yeah, in
450,
wait a
500
second. Tag Heuer, number of units sold 390,000, 615 million Swiss francs. So they're not even making $1 billion. They make 600, let's say $700 million.
And advertising alone is 150, so it's a quarter of the revenue.
Only Formula One advertisement. I mean, they have also
only Formula One, and they have a lot of advertising.
Right?
Otherwise, yeah.
So
it's
let's assume they have a profit margin of 50%, operating profit, right? So that, that cuts in that a lot. I mean, that means you have like 350 million are your costs, and now you're adding 150 million. I don't know how much they spent, but it's a lot. It's a lot.
So, but here's the weird thing. LVMH is a very weird company in terms of their watch portfolio. They have not a single watch brand that is, I wouldn't say good, but it's like they're all kind of like, yeah, right? They got a bunch of like blasé watch companies. Yeah. So they have Tag Heuer, nah. They have Bulgari, nah. They have Hublot, nah. What else do they have?
See,
who else do they have?
I mean, if you just look at the revenue, I mean, Hublot makes 52,000 watches a year, and they
how many do they sell?
Revenue. They make more revenue. They sell 52,000.
Oh, they sell 52. Okay,
which means they make more revenue than Tag Heuer with 390,000 watches. That is actually quite respectable. They make about 700 million Swiss francs revenue, so that's not bad, right? It's puts them in the 12th place in the Swiss watch industry, which is not bad. Then you have Tag Heuer in 15th place. Then I have Bulgari in 19th place. So they're all around 500 million in revenue or more, right? Between 500 million and 1 billion. So it's not shit.
It's not, but it just is such a polarizing company that but if you think, doesn't make sense for me.
Just as one more thought experiment, they are spending more money on F1 advertising than Zenith makes revenue. Zenith makes only
I don't know what to say about
million Swiss francs because they're selling only 12,000 watches a year. Zenith is, I think, one of the, if not the smallest in this. No, actually, Dior is smaller with 6,000 watches. Oh, that's so sweet. 6,000. Are
they Dior? Do they have Dior?
Yeah, Dior is them. There.
Because I just looked up their watch list and they did not mention Dior. They mentioned
Because
Bulgari,
they have this, I
Chaumet,
think,
Fred, Hublot, Repossi, and Tag Heuer.
I think they are mentioned. Where do you see that?
On their LVMH website.
I
watches
think Dior,
and jewelry.
they're listed as a jewelry, so that's why. But they also do watches.
Okay, maybe. Okay, yeah, this is the watch lineup according to them. Okay, interesting enough. So what else?
Yeah, so the question is there. Obviously the people from LVMH, the family that owns LVMH is definitely in the business of watches. So there is now the Arnault family has their children basically put in positions overseeing the watch brands and stuff, and they seem to be very excited about that. So yeah, I think they have put an eye on this and want to actually push LVMH in a higher power in the watchmaking. They have made some very, very strategic purchases in subsidiaries that they have actually acquired in watchmaking. Yeah, the Fabrique du Temps and all of these other things, and they're making more and more and more stuff in-house, very vertically integrated. And they have, of course, so many other high-level brands from Loro Piana to Loewe and, whatever, Marc Jacobs and Fendi and all of these stuff. So there's a lot of possibility for some kind of cross-selling as well, some interesting brands that could branch out into watchmaking eventually. But I think first they want to make their existing watch brands more respected. And that's where they are working, or what they're working towards.
Yeah.
But I think in recent times we saw a couple of weird management decisions, right? There was I think the Julien Tonare from Zenith became the CEO of, I don't know what it was, Hublot or something, and then he basically went to another company within half a year. It's all within LVMH. So there seems to be a lot of moving people around after a very short period of time, which is a bit weird. So let's see. Let's see where they end up.
Honestly,
it's a bit messy, I think, at the moment. Maybe they need some time to just straighten out. But
it's very strange.
But we have been to the Louis Vuitton boutique and looked at the Louis Vuitton watches, the new ones, right? The new tambour with the micro rotor movement and stuff. And
they don't classify themselves as
watchmakers.
Yeah, exactly. So this is the one weird thing.
If you consider them a watchmaker, they would sell about 35,000 watches a year because they're listed in this Morgan Stanley report and make about 162 million watches Swiss francs in revenue, which an average sales price of 4,600 Swiss francs, which is a bit surprising because the new ones are pretty expensive. They're about 100,000 dirhams, right? So like $25,000, $30,000. They're not cheap. So let's see where they're going. I think there's an opportunity for maybe LVMH. I don't know if they would do that to buy Parmigiani Fleurier or some parts of this area. Maybe
I feel they need
not.
to buy something. They need to buy something, right? Because right now, where they're sitting, where they're standing, it just seems very lackadaisical. Lackadaisical, I think is the word. Where it seems like they just don't know what is going on.
Yeah, I think.
And for that,
You know what they actually have done? They have They have hired the lady that is responsible for the movement development of Cartier, or was responsible for the movement making of Cartier, who became the second largest watchmaker in the world, right? Swiss watchmaker in the world, behind Rolex. And they have hired her for Tag Heuer. So they are actually pushing Tag Heuer upwards.
Well, Tag Heuer never had an issue with movements. They used to make a lot of good movements. So I don't know exactly what they're trying to do there.
But they don't make that many in-house movements. They used a lot of Sellita and Theta movements.
Oh, remember they got in trouble for this?
Yes, they had one Citizen
when
that they made exactly. They just bought the IP for the Citizen movement, yeah.
was it Citizen or was it Seiko? I thought it was
I
Seiko,
think maybe
but
it was
it was
Seiko.
one of the two.
Yeah, I think it was.
And
Seiko,
it was one of the Japanese movements, and they ended up saying, "Look at our beautiful in-house caliber, blah blah
and
blah."
it is true.
And
it was in-house made. It was not designed by
yeah,
them.
but they, yeah, exactly. This was one of the things that brought out the whole issue of what is in-house and how do we phrase this that something is in-house without lying.
But now they came out in the last couple of years already with some really cool things, not necessarily in-house, but board movements. For example, their tourbillons and stuff are coming from, I think, La Jouperet and some others. And then with Chronode, I think they work together. I mean, they have done some really cool stuff. The Roger Panther, I think, is their own development. So I think they're going steep upwards. But I think this is the point. Cartier, and that's why I mentioned this. That's the one brand that apparently Bernard Arnault, the owner of LVMH and the CEO, wants to buy. And Richemont is not selling. Because the Richemont
I wonder why.
Yes, because, I mean, the watch business is the second largest in the world from a Swiss watch brand in numbers. Obviously, Cartier itself, with the entirety of Cartier, with the jewelry business, their perfumes, their whatever, sunglasses, and what have you, is humongous. And if you think that watchmaking is profitable, you should go into jewelry. Jeez, the profit margins there are really nice. So I understand why they would love to have Cartier, because it's a great mix.
Everyone would. I mean, look at it. First and foremost, ignoring Cartier's jewelry lines. They are the second largest, as you said, watchmaker in the world.
Swiss watchmaker. Yeah.
They're not. Yes, Swiss. They're not buying Rolex.
Yeah.
It's not possible. That's never going to happen. So why not shoot for number two? Right.
Yes.
Go for what you could get. And LVMH has enough money to kind of be a contender for this.
Yeah, exactly.
Which would be insane if they did. I think it'd be very, very cool. I don't mind who owns it. I have no interest in that, but I think it would be a big shakeup in the watch world for sure if they were able to pull that off.
Yeah, I mean, this is the question. I mean, why would Richemont sell? Same as with Audemars Piguet and Patek Philippe.
I mean, if I give you enough money, as they say, pardon my French here, but everyone's a whore. It's just a matter for how much.
Yeah, I would say that's possible, but maybe there's also a question of if you run a luxury conglomerate, Cartier is one of your crown jewels, right? For Richemont.
Yeah, but the thing is, Richemont has enough other brands to be perfectly fine without it. Richemont's portfolio is significantly magnitudes better than LVMH. So if we look at Richemont, IWC, Panerai, JLC, who else do they have? I'm forgetting. ALS. Who is competing with ALS in the portfolio for LVMH? No one. Who's competing with the Panerais and the IWCs? No one. Who's competing with the Cartiers?
Maybe Bulgari, but it's also not in the...
Yeah, exactly. So it kind of it's weird to me that they let themselves go. It's kind of like the pretty girl back in high school that just got suddenly very, very fat. And you didn't realize it happened over time, but now you look back, you're like, what happened? Like,
yeah, I think
they let themselves go.
Hublot, Takoya, Bulgari, and Zenith. These are the big ones, right? That they have. Yeah. And I
forgot about Zenith. I didn't even mention Zenith. Yeah. And look,
Zenith
every
is
single one of those
small. I mean, 12,000 watches a year is
but ignoring that, each one of these brands has a cult following. You have your diehard IWC people, you have your diehard Panerai people, you have your diehard Zenith people. I don't see any diehard Tag Heuer people. I don't see any diehard, Bulgari Octo Finissimo people. I don't see any diehard Louis Vuitton Tambour people. It's just very funny to me that this is where they're at.
Yeah, I think the brand building, especially in the watchmaking, I think they have maybe, let's say, they haven't paid too much attention to it, and now they realized we have to. And it still has to work
Hence
out.
the purchase of the rights to Formula One.
Yes. It has to work out. So they're trying. So let's see where they're going. Definitely.
I mean, we're talking in advance. Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen. And the other thing is, of course, now with Tag Heuer, they have that whole Kith collaboration. I walked into a Tag Heuer boutique, talked to a guy because I was thinking this was in Budapest, and I was thinking maybe they'll have a Kith there, just to see it. And they said, no, we didn't even receive one. But the guy said, because we're chatting about the Formula One rights, and he says, yeah, so we're going to have the Formula One rights now, blah, blah, blah. And I said, it's very strange to me that, they would make this whole launch of the Kith Heuer before, and then, of course, announcing the Formula One partnership immediately afterwards, Max Verstappen wearing the Kith in the press conference. So then you already got your little kind of watch out there. That was before the Kith was launched. And then, we were saying 100% that this is going to be a production model. There's no way that they tooled up for this watch. And that was it.
Yeah, and also this rather arbitrary amount, like, these ones are 300 pieces, this one is 500 pieces, this one is 600 pieces, then you can buy 200 here, 100 at the Kith boutique, and it was very weird, yeah. So it looks to me
it was very LVMH. LVMH would do this. Weird. Because you're like, what are they doing? No one knows.
Yeah, so... I'm with you there. I think there will be.
But we did forget to mention. We did forget to mention, or I don't know if I just spaced out while you were talking, which often happens. Did we mention the what's it called? The LVMH watchmaking. What was it? The Fabrique du Temps?
Yeah, we mentioned that.
We mentioned it. Okay. Because I was thinking to myself, well, they are kind of trying to push into this, and the Fabrique du Temps is not LVMH, or sorry, it's not. Louis Vuitton specifically, right? It's for other brands as well to kind of do their thing.
Yes and no. I mean, they have their own Louis Vuitton watch factory, I think, that they set up. I think it's not as spaced out like the Richemont group, where they have like Val Fleurier and some others where they actually make movements for many companies. Yeah. We forgot to mention, but with Richemont, that they also have Vacheron Constantin.
Oh, yeah, right? Yeah. And once again, diehard Vacheron people, exist.
Yeah. So that there is, I think, there is, I don't know. So yeah, the Fabrique du Temps is making a lot of these watches that Louis Vuitton makes and wins these JPHG awards. Right, the automatons and all of this stuff, the super duper tourbillons and whatever, and they always are in this highlight.
Doesn't Richemont also have Van Cleef & Arpels?
Yeah, of course, that's theirs.
That's another fairly big one there for jewelry and for.
Yeah, they also make about 400 million Swiss francs a year in watches, 13,500.
Which is roughly what Tag Heuer makes.
Yeah.
Which is kind of, when you compare that's a bit more than 600, but still it's still on the same platform almost, right? Same amount in general terms.
Yeah.
Kind of ridiculous.
It is.
Maybe they should listen to our podcast. I have no suggestions on what to do. I just have criticisms.
I think it's one thing is to understand what you're making, what's wrong, right? To a certain extent, and then you can see what you can make better. Well, I think it's a bit like Montblanc. That's a Richemont group where we all think they're a bit unfocused, a bit like IWC, where you have too much spread.
We keep bringing these Richemont groups, companies up, and I totally forgot about Montblanc, but there's another one. And okay, yes, Montblanc doesn't make the greatest watches. They can. They bought the movement maker for, what is it called? Minerva. But screw that. They still got their whole pen thing. I mean, Montblanc is the industry leader when it comes to pens. That's what everyone thinks of.
Mm-hmm.
So even then, they still got their thing.
Yeah.
So it's just, and once again, I know a billion diehard Montblanc collectors.
Yeah, for sure. And also they have a very big luxury company now, Montblanc, right? I mean, not just watches, but everything else. I mean, look there,
leather goods,
leather goods, their accessories generally. Yeah, they make a lot of different things, which are very successfully. Yeah, Piaget is also a Richemont group.
Let me see.
Also a lot of.
I have my.
Yeah, I have
Montblanc, but it's a special one.
Oh, what is it? Oh, Hodinkee. Oh, yeah, Hodinkee.
Remember the Mont Blanc for a Hodinkee pen? The M?
Right.
The Mark Newson pen?
Yeah.
I have that one. And the reason I got that pen is because it was cheaper than buying it from the boutique here. So they were selling it for like 2,000 dirhams, and Hodinkee had it for $500. And anyway, and then $500 with the leather pouch.
Okay, not bad. So, good deal.
Yeah, better deal.
Yeah, so I think this is where the focus would come in, where LVMH needs to focus. They need to build their brands. And I think a certain extent is just, don't make the same mistake as Richemont with certain IWC where you have and Mont Blanc where you have too much spread. You can buy a Mont Blanc watch that is basically just a cased in Celita, nice case, that's it. Cheap Celita movement, and that's the watch. And they have these super high-end in-house developed perpetual calendar tourbillon or whatever with the with the Minerva group, where they have absolutely stunning movements and stunning watches. And you think this is a bit of do you really want to, because Mont Blanc moved upwards in the watchmaking. They started with watches on the lower end and then went into the higher end. And that's always very, very tricky, right? Because you don't want to wear, let's say car analogy, you don't want to have the Phaeton. This is not an S-Class competitor because it's still a Volkswagen. Yeah. But
it was so much better than an S-Class.
It was, but still people wouldn't buy it because the image, the status wasn't there. But a Mercedes-Benz making a smart car works. Because working down market is easier if you have already the standing and the image than working your way up. And I think this is where you have...
I agree 100%.
Why you have so many
this
brands
is what I like.
Separate.
This is the stuff that I like. And I think you're the same way, is we like these pedestrian companies making these ridiculous things. And you're just like, yeah, I know what it is. You don't know what it is. Mm-hmm. And this whole, if you know, you
underdog,
know.
Right?
It is. And the Phaeton, I saw one the other day in Serbia. And I was just like, that's cool.
So when
no one knew what it was, right? Yeah. Everyone thinks, it's a nice Volkswagen Passat.
No, it's a completely, absolutely, it's the epitome of over-engineering, that car. I mean, it had so many, I think it had the most amount of electric motors doing things ever in a car at the time, right?
It had central air, which... to this day, no other car has central air.
So that means the air comes out of the ceiling like it just falls down on you.
It wasn't out of the ceiling. It was out of a million little vents around the cockpit.
Yeah,
but you don't have air conditioning blowing at your face.
It actually had little things in the ceiling where you would have actually...
Did it have it in the ceiling? Yeah. I knew it had it in the dash and in the doors.
The cold air would just come down on you like from on top without draft.
Oh my God.
It was amazing. If you wanted to, there was no draft, and the cabin would be cooled. And that this was the CEO who said like, this car has to drive 200 kilometers per hour for five hours, and the internal temperature cannot rise above 21 degrees. And
it wasn't too. I thought it was 200 miles an hour,
whatever,
which is like 300 kilometers. It was ridiculous.
And the engineer said like, okay, we can do it.
And then jawohl. And they did it.
Yeah, but
super cool car.
It was, and I went to this manufacture where they actually made it, this glass factory where everything is glass. They have parquet floor. They have white lab coats.
In Dresden.
In Dresden.
Yes, the one in Dresden, right?
Made the car. It was just absolutely.
It was a glass building. They called it what did they call it? The glass.
The glass manufacturer.
The glass manufacturer, exactly. It was so cool.
I've seen it, and I've seen the production lines there when it was still under production of Phaeton. It was pretty insane. It was really amazing. When you looked at that, you think, well, this is on a completely different level. It really looks like they were building, spaceships or something there. And it's so elegant. Everything was automated and looked like space.
It's how watches are built, kind of,
Yeah, it's so romantic. Yeah.
That is super cool. I always love those. I mean, essentially it was just an A8, but it was way cooler in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, I think they shared the development between that. But of course the Phaeton was the
well, it was also the Bentley Continental. Was also
true. Yeah, it was. That is the good thing about a platform strategy, that you can reuse a lot of the tech, right?
And this brings me to another thing. well, now we're totally off topic, but it doesn't matter. I rented a Volkswagen T-Cross. And that got me thinking, this was in Europe. They have the T-Cross, the T-Roc, the Tiguan, the Touareg. Am I missing in here we have the Terra Nova. Terramont or whatever the hell it's called, which is just the cheap American US built crap.
The big one, yeah.
But get this. So this T-Cross was I would guess bigger than a Golf, smaller than the Tiguan. I honestly have no idea where it slots in, what it is supposed to be. And I'm just thinking, and it was made in Germany too. I checked the VIN number and it was a W VIN.
Yeah.
So it just, I thought to myself, this must be some like cheap thing that they make in Malaysia for the, but no, it was made in Germany. I don't get it. And this is the problem that I'm seeing with a lot of these car companies now is you have car lines that are separated by, let's say, 2,000 euros. Because I looked it up and it was starting price like 24,000. And then for 26, you get a T-Cross. And then for another 2,000, you get this and another.
So the T-Cross is the smallest. It was based on the Volkswagen Up. You remember the Up? The tiny one?
Yes, I know the Up.
Yeah.
But this was a big car.
Yeah, I know.
So how was it based on the Up?
It is. It's based on the same platform. It is 3.9 meters long. So it was scheduled to be released for Europe, India, and I don't know, Brazil or something. Yeah.
But we drove it around. It was bigger than a Golf for sure.
Yeah. Because they shifted the focus. That was, it was done based on the Polo. So the Polo is now as big as the old Golf, right? So the Polo became bigger. So now this is basically based on the Polo platform. It was supposed to be on the Up platform. Then they shifted it to the Polo platform.
Okay. So,
and
it was definitely
it's a crazy thing that then there's a T-Cross Breeze with 4 points. Anyhow, it's bigger. It's bigger, or above 4 meters and stuff. So it's very interesting of how they actually changed that in the meantime. It's related to the Polo, the Seat Arona, which I never heard, the Skoda Kamiq.
It's all the same. Yeah.
Skoda Kushaq.
The Kamiq is the Kamiq. I rented the Kamiq last year. Yeah. It's a small SUV as well.
And it says here, although the T-Cross is only slightly smaller than the Golf-based T-Roc, Volkswagen is marketing the T-Cross as the more practical and family-oriented car. So there you go.
It makes no sense.
So it's basically smaller than the Golf-based T-Roc.
Oh, and there was one more.
Yeah.
There was one more SUV that they had, which was a coupe, which I saw as well.
Yes, I think
which
that's
is also a T something.
T-Cross Breeze.
No.
That was a concept.
Hold on. I'm really racking my memory.
So how did you like it? That's the most important question when you had this car. You liked it?
I had no issues with it. Taygun? Taygun?
Yeah, there is a Taygun.
Is that it? No.
It's a subcompact crossover SUV.
No, it wasn't. It was T something. Taygo.
Oh my God.
That
they
is
have
it.
So many cars. Yeah, exactly. Taygo.
And it was a coupe, like a slashback, which I don't know what platform that is on.
Yes, that's with the sloping roof.
I drove this car. We put on, I think, close to 1,500 kilometers on it in about 2 weeks. So I got a lot of use on it, and it was very nice. I'm amazed at how far cars have come since my, Mitsubishi that was built on a freaking 1998. No, it was 1998 was when that chassis came out. Or not the chassis. The engine came out.
So
the chassis goes back to the 80s.
Which engine did you have in it? In the
mine
T-Cross
is a
thing?
No, this is a 3-cylinder, 1.0.
1 liter. So like 120 horsepower or something like that.
And I had no issues with speed, with overtaking, with everything.
Was it automatic DSG or manual?
No. It was a manual.
Oh wait, then you only had 100 horsepower.
Yes, it was 100 horsepower. But once again, the way they're doing 100 horsepower now is not like the way they used to do it, where the 100 horsepower was at like 9,000 RPM.
Yeah, now it's
like 100 horsepower at like 1,000 and it goes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
I was very pleased with it.
I drove once when my car was in service. I drove a Golf here, which was a normal Golf, the 150 horsepower version, at the 1.5 liter or something engine in it. And I was very surprised that 150 horsepower actually is quite okay for a Golf. I mean, it's way more than the first GTI I had, so it's
yeah, exactly. And I had the 200 horsepower turbo diesel, which is I didn't have. Sorry, I rented. I should say the Passat wagon, and that thing hauled. That thing was super
the torque
quick.
Is just insane.
And the torque is what it was huge, right? If you have 200 horsepower in a diesel car, that's a lot more than 200.
I remember my Golf 4 that I had in Germany was a 100 horsepower Golf, Pumpe Düse at the time. That was after the TDI and then before the rail injection, whatever. I had a Pumpe Düse thing, some jet injection stuff. That had also torque like crazy. Easily to 200 kilometers per hour. And it was really amazing. And it consumed really not much diesel.
And this is the thing, you see, that 200 horsepower Passat also didn't consume much, and it was happy to sit at 250 on the Autobahn for 3 hours, and I had no issues. And it was, I had the family in the car, baby seat in the back, we're going 250, and it feels like you're going 100.
Yes, that's true.
So that's very nice. But I do recall, I had originally the I've had a lot of Volkswagens. I had the B5 Passat wagon, 1.8 turbo, the one of the worst engines ever made. It was 150 horsepower. The 1.8 turbo from the Golf. They put it in the GTI 4, which was one of the most mundane engines in the world. Then I had the
B5. I don't know. At least I see that. Yeah.
Then I had the A5 Golf, which was A5 Jetta, which is based on the Golf, 5-cylinder, 150 horsepower,
the 2.5 liter engine,
2.5 liter.
Yeah.
And then from there, I went to the GTI, the 2-liter turbo, 200 horsepower, A6 Golf, Mark 6. And that was my favorite of the lot for sure.
Yeah. The 5 version was really, really cool. I think the 4 version was the one where they made the best.
Yeah, the 5 was super cool. 6, they got the interior right. 7, they went downhill.
Yeah, and I think the 4 was the one where the one that had the least profit.
Yeah.
They said they make, in the best configuration, they make 3% with the car.
No, the 4 was really bad. And for sales,
how much, I mean, that is, you can't run a company with 3%
exactly.
profit.
It just doesn't make sense. But no, I think the 5 was the rebirth of proper Volkswagen, and then 6 was refined because the 6 was just a facelifted version of the 5. It was not. It should have been a 5.5, right? It was not a 6. But the 6 is where they introduced the new design language for Volkswagen, which they still have. They kind of squared off everything, with the nice rectangular lines and everything. But anyway.
Yeah. So how many texts should we put on the watch?
Back to our main topic.
Because
let's
now
talk about text on watches.
T crosses and T things. So this is the same like what you put on cars, right? Turbo.
Yes. Okay. This is a great
16V
thing. So this is one thing that I have noticed as well is car companies are putting more badges on cars, on specifically performance versions of cars. You look at an M5 from the 80s, you wouldn't be able to tell that it was an M5 except for the boot badge, and that was kind of it. You look at it now, it has it on the side stills, it has M5 on the wheels, it has M's on the seats, it has M's
in the front. I mean, the grill in the front had these colors, the blue and the red, the M colors.
Those never came standard. Those were always aftermarket.
No. I don't think it's aftermarket. I think you could.
I think they are. I think this is what the.
But
no. They were never standard. They came on I think they might have come on the CSL, but they never came on a standard production M car.
I think in the M cars it did. It did not come on the M spec cars. I mean the
I guarantee you it didn't come.
When they
100%.
started
We can make a bet about this.
When they started making M competitions, I mean M versions of normal cars with just M packages, right?
The original, look at an E30 M3. That was one of the first M cars to come out. There was an M3 badge on the grill.
Yeah,
there was no blue stripes.
Yeah, well,
you're talking about the stripes.
But the M badge has the stripes next to it.
No, I'm talking about I thought you meant the grill stripes. You know what these tuner guys put on there?
No, no. I meant these in the grill.
The M with
badge.
The stripes.
And
okay,
if you don't have the M, then you have these two colors, the red and the thing there. I think with some M cars, if you want.
Anyway, we're once again off topic. Point of story is, how much text is okay on a watch?
Exactly. How much? So I think...
Okay, pause. Let's count how many lines of text we have on our watches right now. So on my JLC, it says the J for Jaeger, and then the L for LeCoultre. So the JL, the symbol, whatever you want to call it. Then it says Jaeger LeCoultre underneath. And then it says Swiss made. So I technically have one logo, one line of text, and one line of text. So 3 separate lines.
Well, depending on what is good and what is bad, I win because I have a Daytona. So
the Daytona always wins.
Because there's a lot in it. And the bezel doesn't count, right? Because there's tachymeter.
No, we're not counting. We're not counting the bezel.
Okay, then I have
dial.
Under the crown is the word Rolex.
Are we counting the crown?
No, under the crown is the word Rolex.
Okay, so we're not counting the JL for the
no, not
JLC.
the logo. No,
so I only have
text,
2.
Yeah.
Okay, then I have 2 lines of text.
So then I have the word Rolex, Oyster Perpetual, that's 3, Superlative Chronometer, Officially Certified Chronograph. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I'm sorry, what?
I have Rolex,
Mm-hmm.
Oyster Perpetual, that's 3,
Mm-hmm.
Superlative
That's 2.
Chronometer.
Rolex, Oyster Perpetual, that's 2.
Rolex, Oyster and Perpetual, those are 2 words.
Oh, no, we're talking about lines of text.
Oh, lines of text. Okay, that's
lines.
I have 5 lines of text.
Okay.
But I thought we are
Rolex,
counting the words.
Oyster Perpetual. Right now, we'll just do lines.
Okay.
For simplicity.
Then I have on the subdial Daytona. Wait. So I have 5 lines. Rolex, Oyster Perpetual, 2 lines. Superlative Chronometer, 3 lines. Officially Certified, 4 lines. Cosmograph.
Yeah.
That's
5 lines.
5 lines. Then I have Daytona on the subdial. And then I have Swiss made on the bottom.
7. 7 lines of text.
That's a lot.
Yes, that is a lot. I have 2. And
then I have
now,
also
7 is a lot.
on the Reho. I mean, we are not counting that because it's not the dial, but
Rolex. Yeah. So now,
so that's
if
a small
we look
book.
At this,
yeah,
it is. And this is one of the first times I would say people really got upset with this. Was the Tudor Pelagos. If you recall, the old ETA-powered Tudor Pelagos had Tudor. I need to look it up because I don't remember. But I remember it was they
also had a lot of
ironically, they called it 2-liner, but they didn't count the Tudor Genève, which was 2 more lines.
Tudor Genève, 2 lines. Then they had Pelagos, Chronometer, Officially Certified, Rotor, Self-Winding, 500
this
meters.
This is the 2-liner?
No, that's the... No.
I'm talking about the ETA...
This is the current
That's
one.
The in-house.
Yeah.
So the old one said, it was 4 lines technically for the old one. It just said, because it wasn't chronometer certified, I think. It said Tudor Genève.
Okay.
Rotor self-winding, 500 meters equals whatever the hell.
Yeah.
And then they changed that. They added 2 more lines.
Mm-hmm.
They added Pelagos and they added chronometer certified.
Chronometer and officially certified. Yeah.
Yeah, chronometer official. So what? Does it say Pelagos or no?
It says Pelagos, underneath chronometer, underneath
how many lines?
Officially
I thought
certified.
They only added 2
underneath
lines.
rotor self-winding.
Oh my God. It is 5 lines.
Yes, correct.
They added 3 lines to it.
Exactly like the Daytona 7.
Oh my God. So Tudor Genève, 2 lines.
Yes.
Pelagos, 3 lines. Chronometer, 4 lines. Officially certified, 5 lines. Rotor self-winding, 6 lines. 500 meters, 7 lines. Swiss made, 8 lines. It's one more than you.
Yes.
So
It's
yours
crazy,
is 7 lines. This is 8.
Yeah, and that includes the subtitles and stuff. Yeah. So and then funny enough, Seiko recently got a bit of flack with a new King Seiko. Remember that? It just came out, the new King Seiko in 37 or something, because the new King Seikos have wait a second, where is it the King Seiko? Yeah, it is the King Seikos. The Seiko King Seiko. Wait a second, why don't I see it now? Am I on the wrong one? Because they have this new one where they say 3 days or something. Or was this a Prospex? Okay. It says Seiko, King Seiko, automatic. Why? Why have automatic? Like, why have Rolex self-winding or rotor?
This is one of the greatest questions ever, is how much information is too much? I understand that in the past, traditionally you would want to say that a watch is an automatic because that would be a selling point. We see this in cars a lot, even to this day. I'll be driving around and you'll see a, Nissan, whatever the little pickup truck is, the work truck.
Yes.
And it'll say fuel injected. I'm like, yeah, since when was it carbureted? Like, this is not something to brag about. I've seen such things on the back.
CC.
I've seen 152 horsepower written on the side of one of these Nissan trucks. I've seen ABS written on the side.
ABS, you saw that a lot. Yeah. That was cool. When it was funky new technology,
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff that they used to write on these things.
16 belts.
And then I understand. Okay, fine. But when all said and done, automatics used to be bragging about the fact that they were automatic and not manual. And it would also tell the wearer you don't have to wind it, which I guess was nice when you were wearing it, because that's kind of the only thing that you would know is my watch going to die? No, it's automatic. It's fine.
But what you think about this? I mean, the question is, basically it reminds you that you don't have to do something, which is a bit weird, because shouldn't it remind you that you have to do something, right? I mean, it should say manual wind.
Yeah,
but it doesn't need to say automatic, because, you just wear it and fine.
Exactly. So I don't know, but do you know any situations where more lines of text was better?
See, I think from a design perspective, sometimes these lines of text can somehow fill the dial with stuff that feels okay. But on the other hand, I think Moser now shows us that you can make dials without even a logo, without a Swiss made, without anything on it, and it still looks okay. I know a lot of people have looked at my Blancpain 50 fathoms Bathi scarf because there's only 2 lines of text. There's Blancpain and there's Bathi scarf on it. That's it.
Swiss made.
But on the bottom, Swiss made, very small. But basically that's it. So then 3 lines. And so very, very little text and a lot of dial. But it's a beautiful lacquered sunburst dial. It's so nice and blue. It was fantastic. So I think people are scared of negative space.
Yes, I have to say that there's times where
negative
but
space.
There's times when it works. There's times when it doesn't work. So, for instance, I have to point out Grand Seiko. Back before 2016, before Grand Seiko became its own company, it was just a variant of a Seiko. And they used to have Seiko at the top, then down at the 6 o'clock, they would say GS, and then Grand Seiko. And I still maintain to this day that looks better, more balanced than the current Grand Seiko writing.
Mm-hmm.
And this was very noticeable for the Grand Seiko I had with the 3 hands because the dial had nothing on it except GS and Grand Seiko. And that was it. And this left a lot of empty space on the 6 o'clock side. And it just looked kind of, I wouldn't say odd, but it felt a little empty. And sometimes this empty space, if the dial is not attractive enough, if the dial is not made in, in an interesting color or an interesting style, it just ends up being a little strange.
Yeah.
And it leaves you wanting.
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on the design that you actually want to have, right? I mean, if you look at, and I'm sharing one watch with you now.
No, I like it. I actually like it. No, I do like it.
Navitimer, and it has so many lines.
It's the Navitimer Cosmonaut.
Correct. It's a Cosmonaut with a 24-hour bezel.
Yes, which it looks cool.
And it has so many measures, and I mean, it has the slide rule and everything else. And
it still only has 3 lines of text.
Yeah, it has no text, but it has so many lines and things on it, right? Here, everywhere. So that's the. So it has so many scales, you don't even know what you're looking at anymore, right? So yeah, it is a tool, right? It was a tool for calculations and everything else, but that is a busy one, right? And it's okay, because that's the design. So that's why I'm saying sometimes it's very tough to say, what do you want to achieve with the watch, right? Sometimes it's you think, okay, that's a bit much. When I look at my Daytona, I think, well, if they would have removed 2 lines and just, would people complain? Maybe sometimes they put the words so that they form, the words form a form. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and this is why I was going to get into this as well.
Like a raute. You don't know what the word is in like a diamond shape, because it's like this, right? The cosmograph. I don't know if you remember this on the Daytona, but it looks like it goes. Yes, exactly. And this is one of the things I wanted to mention. Small, right? Yeah.
In a similar fashion, the Omega Speedmaster says, I don't remember what, Omega Speedmaster Professional, I think it was, right?
Yeah.
And it says the Omega logo up top, Speedmaster underneath in the cursive, and Professional underneath. And on the version that I have, they made it a triangle. They stretched out the word professional to be longer than the word Speedmaster so that it would kind of be aesthetically pleasing. And then on the new ones, they made it the same length.
Correct.
Speedmaster and Professional are the same length. And I look at it and I really like the triangle shape that the old one has. That's one of the few things that I feel the old one did better.
Yeah, but with the new one, do you actually, and this is another question that we have, how many different fonts are too many fonts on a watch dial? Because in the Omega, for example,
I don't notice. I don't care for fonts.
Is the Omega, I mean, I don't like too many fonts, but Omega and Speedmaster. Speedmaster is in like a cursive. Omega is in all capital letters, and Professional as well. But are they the same font? I don't even know. Definitely Omega is bold, so it's different. I don't know. And then you have the subdials. Also, sometimes you have the subdials with different fonts. I think one of the biggest culprit there is the Breguet Type 20, which had every subdial and every text was a different font, basically. I think it's 5 different fonts on the watch. It sort of works when you look at it, but if you think about it, it's horrendous. How many fonts can you put on a dial? It's
I don't know.
As a designer, you would say
Speedmaster is a brand name. Omega is a brand name, so you have to have your font, and then everything else is in one font, I guess.
Man.
It's very interesting.
So yeah, I think. Do we have a rule, the Lumeplotters rule of how many lines of text are too many?
I wanted to mention another watch real fast, the Submariner, the 5512 and the 5513. Essentially, Rolex made 2 versions of the same watch. One was chronograph certified. The other one, chronometer certified. The other one was not. The one that wasn't was a 2-line. And the one that was a 4-line because it added the words. Superlative chronometer officially certified, right? 2 more lines were added. So hence 2 lines versus 4. And the funny thing was the 4-line version, because it was chronometer certified, cost more.
Right.
So everyone went out and bought the 2-liner because no one gave a rat's ass about it being chronometer certified. So everyone bought that.
Yeah.
But then, and then that stayed the way for a very, very long time until Rolex finally dropped the option and said, okay, everything is chronometer certified. But here's what happened. the two line variants became very, very popular because they were different than the modern offerings. And of course, there was more option. You got good deals. But then what nobody realized until recently, apparently, or fairly recently, is there's not a lot of 4-liners because everyone bought the 2-liners. So now, apparently, there's a big kind of push for these old 4-line variants because they're so hard to find. And now because of that, their prices are sky high. So kind of cool. So this is also weird. This makes differences. Look at dial the line colors. We talk about the double red seed dweller, right? And by putting 2 red lines, we have the white variant, which was called the Great White, which everything was written in white. The double red had seed dweller, and I don't know what else it was. It was 2 lines of red on it, hence why it's called the double red.
Yeah.
These are things that people, highly sought after differences.
That's correct, and it's like these little things, right? Sometimes when you think like Tudor, for example, when they put the depth rating on a watch, which they don't do on many watches, I think they have now come down, right? The new Black Bay 58 GMT has Tudor Genève on top, that stays, and then only GMT master chronometer. That's it. Mm-hmm. That's just 2 lines, and one line is only 3 characters, just GMT. That is very, very little. And then you have, the old, the Harrods Black Bay. Remember this one, which was very surprising because it had a different color on the dial. The 200 meters depth rating of the Black Bay was in green, and it had feet first. Tudor always has meters first.
Well,
while Rolex,
this is not
while Rolex always has feet first. But in this Tudor, they had feet first because it's only sold in Great Britain, in Harrods. Isn't that? These are the little things.
So, but once again, there was a Submariner that had meters first. It was called?
Yeah, the meters first version.
I don't know. Remember what it was.
Last.
But it was known as the meters first Submariner.
Wow.
And that's what it was called, meters first. And that's kind of why it's cool. And that's one of the reasons, of course, it's highly valuable because it said meters first. So that's really funny. And this is something that I just learned because even though I have the Tudor and I have the, what's it called? I've never noticed this, that the Tudor has meter. I just checked, by the way. Tudor does have the meters first on the Black Bay, and Rolex does have the feet first. No, yeah. I had no idea.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Never looked at it.
Yeah. I know. There's a
so
question
in the grand scheme of things, I don't care about how many lines of text there is. I could care less.
Yeah. I think it's a part of a design, right? So if you have, if the words form a shape, then obviously it makes sort of sense, because I looked at my Daytona and I thought there is a lot of text on it. But then I thought, well, it sort of works. It fills the space nicely. So, yeah.
Who cares?
Who cares?
But if I had 5 lines of text on my, reverso here,
yeah,
I don't think I would like it very much.
Yeah, it's not the sporty thing. How many words are on a let's say a 1908 Rolex? A dress Rolex, the perfect dress Rolex.
Let's look it up.
Yeah, let's look it up because I don't know. I mean, the Oyster Perpetual doesn't have so many. No, actually, it does have the Datejust.
It does. It says Oyster Perpetual. The Cellini just said Rolex Genève. That was it.
And the current
Oyster Perpetual says Rolex Oyster Perpetual superlative chronometer officially certified.
Oh wow!
So the Cellini didn't have that at all. Let's see. It depends. Some Cellinis did write Cellini on it, which was stupid. The new 1908s do say that they're officially certified, but it says it in such a way that it's kind of on the
it's just
right above the subdial.
Yeah, it's a superlative chronometer. But you know what? The platinum version.
But they dropped the word Genève. They used to have a Genève.
The gold version just the platinum version doesn't.
Yeah.
Because of the
very interesting.
The guilloche dial, I guess. Interesting, right? So the platinum version just has Rolex, superlative chronometer, and Swiss made. That's it. Only 3 lines. That's the least. amount of text on Rolex.
But we know because they made the new Sea Dweller with the red, they made the new Deep Sea with a gold line. Brands are thinking about this. This is not something that goes to the, back of your mind.
No.
Your Pelagos has a red line.
Yeah. You know, when they for the Explorer 1, you have one, right?
Yes.
Is this the current model?
Yes, I do.
Is this?
Yes.
So you now have the Explorer on the top.
Yes, that was a big deal too. Is switching it.
Exactly.
And this was to me, it seems more balanced this way. When I look at the old Explorer, which had it on the bottom, it was weird. But here's the thing. If you go back further, the Explorer was on the top.
Yes.
So essentially the 39 millimeter changed it.
Yeah.
And then it changed like that.
Do you think they could actually get rid of this officially certified?
But it is. How dare you?
Well, the thing is, the chronometer is certified, but the superlative is not, because that's their own certification.
Yes. Yes.
And on this bombshell, we should say bye-bye.
You think is this time?
Yes.
Is it time to end
It's
already?
Time to end, yeah. I know it's hard when you're having fun.
I was still into I was Googling the Explorers, but if you go back to the 14270s, they also had it on top. So I don't know what the hell they were thinking on the 12470. The 214-270.
So
where they brought it down.
I want to say one thing. Can you imagine these meetings in which they decide and discuss which word goes where on the dial, and if they should change the size, the font, the spacing, anything, and how many iterations and how many meetings they might do on a watch like the Explorer, and how they eventually end up with one design or not? It must be
riveting,
either painstakingly terrible and slow and long, or it might be very quick and somebody decides that and just that's it. I don't know. I would love to be a small fly on the wall and
I would like that as well. I would love to see how Rolex comes up with this shit, because I have no idea. We speculate, but then I think we have no idea what's going on in the grand scheme of things. But
exactly. All right.
Anywho.
Yeah. So then,
all right,
let's roll the credits and we see you in the next week. Hear you. Bye-bye.
You hear us.